June is coming to an end, which means that it's time to finally set up my very first month in my brand new bullet journal by Tifosi. If you missed my 2025 bullet journal setup, I highly recommend you watch it because I'm giving away one of these notebooks and I share all the pages that I did as you are seeing on the screen. But I go into much more detail on that video, so if you'd like to see the whole setup, make sure you watch that video. It's linked in the cards and here in the description below, and don't forget to join the giveaway. But today I'm going to set up my bullet journal pages for July in my brand new notebook. So I'm really excited because it's been a while since I used an A5 notebook. So I'm really excited to see where my creativity goes and what I create with this size of a journal. I know that it's not like a big deal from a traveler's notebook that I was using to an A5, but for me, in terms of creativity, I feel like I am much more stress-free and I can play a lot more with stickers and watercolors and markers in an A5 notebook. So I'm really excited to show you the theme that I created for July. And as you can see, I'm starting with watercolors because one of the things that I really wanted to do for this theme was to keep the junk journal theme aesthetic going on in this bullet journal. I created my 2025 bullet journal collections in this junk journal pastel, very vibrant theme, as you just saw. And I wanted to kind of have that vibe for the months of the year, at least for now, but not fully on junk journaling themes. So I wanted to create a theme and play around with junk journal stuff and watercolors. And my first thought when it came to a July theme was to create a theme that was really summery but monochromatic at the same time. And for some reason, I haven't created a monochromatic blue page in my junk journal, so I was like, maybe it's the time to do it in my bullet journal because blue is my favorite color, or at least it used to be. Now I think I use a lot more pink and black, so I don't know, but blue is always my color of the heart. So I wanted to do a blue theme for July, but I wanted to use some papers and stickers and junk journaling items. And so I looked at my big paper collection and I saw this plaid blue paper that you're seeing at the top of the video, but as you can see, the grids are too close together and it was looking too busy for me. And I actually used this paper for a theme in January back in the day, and so I didn't really want to do the same thing, but I wanted to have that plaid blue design as inspiration for my own July theme. So what I'm doing is literally designing that grid on my bullet journal as like the background for everything. So here I'm using the Arteza watercolor palettes. I think it has 36 different colors, and I'm mixing up two different blues to create these lines on the background that eventually will turn into a blue grid to match that plaid paper that I just mentioned. And the effect that I'm trying to create with these watercolors and these uneven lines is this photo that I saw on Pinterest. I saw this and I was like, that's super pretty for like a background for my theme, so I'm going to use that but in blue. And later on I'm going to do some blueberries for my blueberry theme. And this is how the theme came together, and I'm really happy with how the background turned out. I think it's super summery, super fun, and this is the vibe that I wanted to go, and I don't think I would accomplish the same vibe with that paper. And yes, this took me a while to do, and so my real-time bullet journal setup of this theme is going to be a little bit longer, but I'm going to go through everything that you need to plan out and think about when starting a bullet journal mid-year. So if you're interested in that, make sure you stay tuned for tomorrow where I'll post the full bullet journal setup in real time. When the grid was done and dry, I grabbed an Artex pen, and this is an acrylic marker, so it's very pigmented. And on the right page, I'm writing July in these big calligraphy letters. And with that same pen, I'm actually doing an outline between the grid and the white paper, just like that Pinterest photo. And I tried to not do the lines completely perfectly, but my perfectionist brain couldn't understand that I wanted them a little bit off. So I tried my best, and I think it turned out pretty good. With all of this done, it was time to move on into my blueberries, and I actually grabbed some coloring pencils. I every now and then like to use coloring pencils in my bullet journal. I think it adds that childhood handmade touch to things. So I grabbed some coloring pencils in two different blue shades and I drew some blueberries, and it's basically a light blue circle with a darker blue star in the middle, and that's a blueberry. That's how I drew mine and that's how I did it. And I drew these on sticker paper so they were ready to cut and stuck into my bullet journal. And you're probably wondering what I'm going to do with that left blank page, and I usually do a quote for the month, but nowadays I feel like quotes don't really work out for me, especially in this vibe of junk journaling that I'm in. So I literally did a mood board and I grabbed some letters from my letter junk box and I wrote mood board on the page and I added a bunch of pictures and scrap papers and stickers that would kind of match the vibe of my July theme, but in like a mood board type of thing. I've never done a mood board in a bullet journal theme, but since I'm in this junk journaling vibe, I thought it was the perfect thing to do, and it turned out super cute. One thing that I would probably do in a future mood board for the month is to add pictures in the same color palette as the theme, but pictures of things that I want to do throughout the month. So for example, in August, we're going to have the lantern show here in Portugal. So if I do like an orange theme for August, I'm going to add a picture of that lantern show in my mood board. So it's kind of like it's the mood for the month, but it's also something that I want to do throughout the month, if that makes sense. So I really like this idea and I hope it sticks because I really like the idea of having a mood board in your bullet journal. Then I finished both of these pages with some details of stars and the blueberries, and I'm going to move on into my calendar page for the month of July. So for this calendar page, I did something different with a grid on the background. So because I wanted a really big calendar for July where I would put stickers and my events and things that happen and all of that stuff, I thought that the whole wiggly grid thing that I did on the cover page in Moodboard was not going to work on this page. So instead, I did the whole background a grid and then I just have a space in the middle, not touching the calendar for the calendar. So I thought that was going to work a lot better and I really like how it turned out. It still matches the theme, but not in the full grid thing. But I really like how it turned out, so I'm happy. Oh, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, you probably missed that I have a new family member. This is Lily. We got her from the trash near our terrain, and we just heard her meowing loudly, and we felt sorry for her, so we took her home. And she has been so playful, and she's so cute. Getting a new cat was not on my bingo card for this year, but I'm so glad that we found her and that now she has a warm home because she's the cutest little kitten ever, and we're really happy that we adopted her. And this calendar is going to be massive because I don't know, I just feel like nowadays with doing junk journaling, and I know that I'm obsessing over that, but honestly, it's something that I feel like I want to document more of my life. I'm currently in a state where I'm looking for a job, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do in life. And so having a big calendar and just like my bullet journal pages and my junk journal to just write stuff down is a huge lifesaver for me. It's where I dump all my thoughts and stuff. So I decided to have just a big calendar for July. I feel like July is not going to be a corporate productive month for some reason. I just feel like maybe because I'm turning 25 on the last day of June and July it's like a whole new chapter. So I don't know. But there's a lot of things that I want to do starting in July. So I created this calendar just for that. So I'm doing a grid on the background and I'm just going to fill it in with a bunch of blueberries and other stickers. And I added a little title on the bottom right corner that just says July in junk journaling letters. And it's pretty simple, but it took a while to do because of all the grids. But yeah, I really like how it turned out. And one tip is to not use the acrylic markers for this type of spread because they are really thick and they are not that sturdy, so the lines are a bit wiggly, but it's fine with me. Also, I wanted to mention that this past Monday, I actually bought a journal from a handmade journal girl. I'm going to leave her at on Instagram here in the description below. But I got a journal that I'm going to use as my 5-year journal. So, 5-year journals is where you have a journal that is pre made and starts in January, ends in December, but it lasts you for 5 years. And you basically write a quote or like you do a little bit of journaling each day for 5 years, and it's kind of like your memories all collapse into a 5-year journal. I want to start that, but because the 1st of July is my first day as a 25-year-old, I thought I would start there and end when I finish my 30th year of life. I don't know if that is going to work or not because I'm really bad at keeping track of my journal and writing every day, but I thought I would do this project as a way to make sure that I journal every single morning or later at night. So I'm going to start that as well in July, and don't worry that I'm going to do a video explaining my entire journaling ecosystem where I'm going to share all the journals that I use and how I use them and everything. So if you're curious about that, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss that video. But yeah, that is my big calendar for July, and we're going to move on into my last spreads for this setup. Also, it has been a while since I did a weekly spread on a Plan With Me video, but I'm going to have a live streaming my last weekly spread in my old bullet journal next week, because I also wanted to do like a pre-birthday live stream with you guys. So if you would like to set up my last weekly spread in my bullet journal a little bit with me and celebrate my birthday with me, make sure you also turn on notifications so you don't miss my live stream announcement for next week. Ooh, I'm so excited. But yeah, these last two pages are going to be my to-do list for the month and my habit tracker. I changed a little bit of the order here of the pages that I usually do, but we're trying new things in this bullet journal, so that's fine. But my left page is going to be all about my to-do list for the month. And for July, I didn't want to have a goal section in here because I barely look at it, and I always feel like I have to have goals to accomplish every month. And even though that's true and you should have little goals throughout the year, I feel like that is really pushing me down and pressuring me into doing stuff. So I rather not have monthly goals and just yearly goals with just little steps throughout the month that I accomplish. So that's why I'm not having a goal section in my to-do list for this month. And also my to-do list for this month is a little bit smaller because I actually use my weekly to-do list more than my monthly to-do list. So yeah, I just didn't need a whole space for that, and I could use more of the grids and the stickers for this month on this page instead of having a huge to-do list for the month. And my habit tracker is going to be on the right page. And for now, I don't know which habits I'm going to track in July. I pretty much always track the same habits, but I don't know if I'm going to include a specific habit in my calendar for July, so we'll see. But I just did 5 mini calendars, and whenever a month ends on 31, I try to use my calendar stamps that I got from Amazon years ago, and I'm finally using them in this page. So I did 5 mini calendars and the blue heather, and once July starts, maybe I will do that on that live stream next week. I will define which habits I want to track in July. I usually track my water intake, if I worked out that day or not, if I played the drums, and if I did some sort of thing related to marketing. But July is going to be a bit different probably, so I don't know what I'm going to track. So I'm going to wait for my birthday or the day before or in that live stream to decide what I'm going to track for July. But if you have any ideas of habits that I should track in July that I should try, let me know in the comments below. And before I say goodbye, don't forget to join in my giveaway on my previous video. It's linked in the description below to win one of these beautiful notebooks by Tifosi. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed it. And this is my whole setup for July. I'm really happy with how the theme turned out, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!